If you've ever dreamed about a famous person, unfortunately, it probably doesn't mean you're going to meet that person. It usually represents something about you. The key isn't who they are, it's what they represent to you. Here's some great examples of what it could be. Say it's an athlete, that could be about drive or determination. Oftentimes, I have a lot of dreams with actors in them, and that tends to be like identity driven. If maybe it's a singer, that can be expressing your emotions, expressing who you are, expressing your truth. If it's an influencer in your dream, one of the girls I mentor has an influencer that shows up in her dreams a lot. That tends to be about visibility. Or say it's something a little less vibrant, say it's a business leader, that can represent like ambition in your life. Two people can dream about the exact same celebrity and have two very different meanings to that celebrity in their dream. Like one person could see confidence in that actor, another person could see ego in that person, another person could see like success or even pressure, all depending on what they've seen and experienced and how they associate with the famous person in their dream. Dreams use your personal associations more than they're going to use like some universal meaning. Although, again, those universal meanings help, your personal association, it's really going to be the key pieces to your puzzle of your dream. I am really, really excited to share these 2020 dreams. There are so many metaphors and symbols that I'm going to be able to break down for you, real life application on how it's played out in my life. But first, before we do that, I want to talk to those that are new here. My name's Nicole, and I am a firm believer that your dreams at night are helping to decode your future. And I'm passionate about teaching people how to understand the symbols in their dream life. So if this is a conversation that you like, please hit the like button and subscribe. That way you know when new videos come out, and it tells the algorithms that people like you like content like this. Okay, I am going to move through this dream pretty quickly because there's three of them and there are so many golden nuggets that I want to make sure to break down for you so you can use these golden nuggets in your own celebrity dreams or any dreams that you're having. Now, this is June 8th of 2020. I was investigating a looting at a small store in Brentwood with a man. It didn't look like anything had been stolen, but the female store owner and her husband were describing a close call. And I was telling my partner of a rare nature of some of her items and how they could never be replaced if stolen. This store was part of an outdoor mall of stores, and there were shoppers milling about inside and outside the store that looked very done up. I had the impression that they were all famous. That was dream number one. Dream number two that night. I was then with a different woman, and she said she admired my skills, but I lived so far away. She then offered me an internship. I wasn't sure what the internship was for, but I thought this could be an inroad for my calling. I tried to ask about pay and responsibilities, but she gave no answers. I wanted to say yes. I was so excited. And then she told me it was an internship to work with Liam Nelson. That's the first famous person in this dream. I was amazed, and it felt like I would be some type of spiritual advisor. And I was very excited, but nervous because I couldn't get any details out of her. The last dream of that night. I was in a home that wasn't completed or it needed work, maybe. It was of an older man, an older gentleman. He was talking to another man and giving him advice about movies to watch. He advised him to watch Cat in the Hat, but he described it differently because he didn't know the proper name. And I smiled and lovingly filled in the conversation with the proper name. I clearly had affection for this old man. Okay, let's be honest. I had this dream 6 years ago, almost a couple months. It'll be 6 years ago. When you have that kind of a dream, don't you want to just kind of throw that away? It makes no sense. In particular, as I walk this out for you, 2020, I could have had there's just no way I could have understood what this dream meant. And in fact, I didn't. I filed it away in my Word document. I went over it. I kept it in my head because it was so vivid but I had no idea what it meant until it started to come to pass. And again, this is one of those dreams that spans years. It's not one and done. It's not one occasion or one happening. It spans years, and it was confirmation on what I was doing and what I'm doing going forward. Let me break some of this down for you. So I was investigating a looting. I want to read this whole part, and then I'm going to break a couple of it. I was investigating a looting in a small store in Brentwood with a man, and it didn't look like anything had been stolen from the female store owner. But her and her husband described a close call, and I was telling my partner of the rare nature of some of her items. Now, this ended up being true, but I didn't understand until after I had made my decision. So it was one of those dreams that as it came true, it was confirmation. Now, this represents that Franklin Walmart that I worked at. And it truly, if you noticed at the end of that, it talked about kind of like the high end nature of the people shopping there. And that's exactly what this Walmart is like. It is unlike any Walmart you probably have walked into, the kind of high end. I don't know. I won't get into it, but it fit exactly. Now, the store manager was actually the store manager of the store, and this represented her. So I understood that I was there for more than one purpose. And one of those purposes was to come alongside her and help her make sure to not get stolen from. Okay. Not going to get into the details of that. But on the outside, it didn't look like anything had been stolen. And that's what this dream is showing, that from the outside to look, it does not look like anything is being taken from her. But the dream gave me understanding that there was. And so I responded accordingly. Okay. I made sure to stay observant and deal with things on an emotional and maybe spiritual level to bring protection to the store manager. Okay. That was part number one, which leads to part number two. And I'm going to show you why. So I was then with a different woman. So it's a transition in the dream. This is now first part about that store manager. Second, my responsibility to her. Okay. In my season there. Two, second part, change. No longer about that store manager. Okay. Now this one is I'm with a different woman. That tells me a change. Okay. She admired my skills, but I lived so far away. That meant that it is pointing to my destiny. It is actually pointing to what I'm doing here with you today, podcasting about dreams. At the time, I did not understand that because I was too far away from it. I wasn't ready. Like my mind, my body, my soul was too far away from this destiny at that point. However, I was going to get this internship. And I even say in the dream, I think this is an inroad for my calling, which was, I'm going to explain how. So I tried to ask about pay and responsibilities. You see that? Okay. And then you see at the end that I'm nervous because I couldn't get any details out of her. True. I understood when I walked this dream out, I understood that I was walking the dream out. Like when it happened, I'll show you how. But I did not have a full understanding of what I'm doing today. There's no way I could have back in 23, 24 understood what my life was going to look like in 26. Okay. So that's that kind of like, I can't get the details. However, I knew I was walking it out when it happened. And here's why. So she says yes. And I was so excited. She told me that I had an internship with Liam Neeson. Now, famous person, the other one, Cat in the Hat. I'll explain that in a minute. This famous person had to break down into name meanings for me. This is so freaking cool. You guys are going to love this. Okay. Liam is actually my youngest son's name, but the meaning is protector, which is pretty cool if you think about all the movies that Liam Neeson has been in. He's always like, going into foreign countries and saving his daughter. So he is a protector. This is going to matter. Okay. Then Neeson, I always put an L in it, but I guess it's Neeson, means high kings. Okay. I was amazed, and it felt like I would be some type of spiritual advisor, which is my calling, to help people break down the symbols in their dreams and begin to grab that spiritual meaning out of your nightlife in order to move forward into your destiny. Okay. All right. Now, the name, this is how it actually worked out in real life. I had, through a series of events, I don't have enough time to go, this video, again, be an hour long. Some really flipping cool events happened while I was working at Walmart that led me to an opportunity to get like a Zoom call, like a 15-minute Zoom call with the director of, it's not media relations for Walmart, but it's like all of what you see on, like, the commercials and the inner Walmart stuff and the magazine and all that kind of people storytelling that you see from Walmart. This was the director. Now, I go into this meeting and his name his name is Matt Smith. This is how it connects. And I had to really convince my husband of this. I remember, because I was like, look, this is this dream. I remember like having this conversation with him a couple of times before this interview. It wasn't an interview, this like meet and greet. And he was like, I don't know. He was always good at like pushing back and making sure I was getting the right meaning out of things. He was like, I don't know. When I figured this out, when I saw that this man's name is Matt Smith, and here's why it matters. For those of you that know and love Doctor Who, my husband loved Doctor Who. All of the Doctor Who's. He and my oldest son really connected on this. And one of his favorite actors that played Doctor Who was Matt Smith. You guessed it. So here is the connection to Liam. Liam's name means protector. Matt Smith was Doctor Who is known as the protector of Earth, of man. If you're a Doctor Who fan, you know what I'm talking about. Then this Matt Smith guy that I'm literally having a Zoom call with, High King, he's the director. Like, he's flipping up there. He's answering to the CEO about basically media and branding for this huge company, right? So I literally have this internship with him. This meeting goes from 15 minutes. That's all it's supposed to be, like a meet and greet. We were on that Zoom call for over an hour. It was a phenomenal conversation. So it was this opportunity. Now, there was no job opportunity at that time. There was no opening. This was a meet and greet only, which is why it's an internship. Why is it an internship, and why does that matter? For me. So as you know, my husband ended up passing away that next year, and I ended up leaving Walmart. So it did not result in a paying job. What it did result in, this meeting with the protector, the High King, right, did something for me. It showed me that I am built for this. I cannot even tell you how flipping exciting it was on the phone or on the Zoom call with this guy. The connection was great. I felt confident. I felt confident in the work that I sent him. He was very encouraging to me, to the point where he was showing me like how to apply for and find other media relation type jobs with the company. This was preparatory for what I'm doing now. It helped me to build confidence for what I was about to do. It was my internship. Do you see how cool that was? A dream I had in 2020 that, had you defined it for me in 2020, I would have walked away. It would have made me angry. I would not have believed it. Then 24, I'm going to say this is 24. Yeah, 24. I'm actually walking this dream out. It's not only exciting, it not only fits the dream 100%, to the point where my husband was like, okay, I see it. I see that you're right. And then down to the name. And then it prepares me for what I'm going to do moving forward. That spiritual advisor. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot take these puzzle pieces, these symbols, and make it whatever you want. They only fit together in specific orders. And for that to actually fit my real life situation in 2024 is statistically impossible. This is why your dreams matter. I could not have done this for myself. And here's the next critical thing. I wouldn't have done it. No flipping way. I would not have had the identity yet, or the ability to even take that phone call. I would not have gotten on that Zoom call. It was quite a number of events to get me there, but I did it because of this dream. And I didn't have a full understanding of the dream, but I understood enough of the symbols to walk it out. It gave me confidence. It gave me a reason to move forward. And I don't think it's done talking. I understand what it's done for me now. I think there'll be more things to do in the future. Let's look at this last part. I was in a home that wasn't completed or needed work to be done. That's me. That's me still at the time getting ready to walk into my destiny. Now, this older black man, this gentleman, I think I've explained to you in the past, if you're Caucasian and you've got an African American in your dream, it's something unfamiliar to you. Same thing as if you're an African American and you're looking at a Caucasian is in your dream. It's something unfamiliar to you. That's all it means. So, this older gentleman, I love him. That's what I say in the end, that I'm very fond of this man. Wisdom. Look at it, anyone older in your life. That represents oftentimes wisdom. So there's this unfamiliar wisdom starting to work itself out in my not quite prepared yet mind, body, and soul to start walking in my destiny. Now, cat in the hat. This is how you kind of break this stuff down. You have to ruminate on and do a lot of Googling sometimes and figure out why would this apply to the dream. Now, when I Googled this, it said cat in the hat leads to discussions about trust, responsibility, social expectations, and honesty. If I had to describe to you the gravity of what I feel when I am helping someone interpret their dreams, that explains it exactly. Because you could screw someone up, let me tell you. You mess up with their dreams and you set them on the wrong path, that's a heavy, heavy thing. So, this is watching a movie. Movies can be like a future episode of your life, or it can be a past episode, or it can be a current episode. It's saying, get your head ready for things that build, let's put it this way, acting, responding, or moving forward into your calling with trust, responsibility, social expectations, and honesty in mind. Very important. Okay, so then he described it differently. I understood the proper name. I think that's just now in time, 6 years after this dream. At that time, there was no way to name my destiny, what I was going to walk into. And now I can. Now I can name it. It is this calling to help people learn how to break down the symbols in their dreams. Now, here's a few things you can break down about your celebrity dream. Are you doing talking in the dream? Oftentimes that can mean like developing. It's a development opportunity for you. Are you just observing the whole situation in the dream? That's just, it's bringing your awareness to something. Are you becoming that celebrity? That can be a shift in identity. Are you working with this celebrity? I've actually had a number of those. I have a lot of celebrity dreams. And when you're working with them, that can be like growth in an area that they represent for you. What happens with them is often just as important as to who they are. Look at my dream. I was having an internship with Liam Neeson. So it walked it walked me through what was that experience to me, which also helped me let it go. Like I understood it wasn't going to result in a job, but it was to my benefit. So that is why what's happening along with that celebrity matters. You have to bring those two pieces of the puzzle together. When you see recognizable faces, whether they be famous or they are just other people in your life, they're there to help you recognize parts of yourself inside the dream, inside what your dreams are trying to help you identify, whether that is going to be a future event or that is something behind you that needs to be dealt with. Pay attention to that famous person. I encourage you not to get tied up in who they are. And I've seen this more than you'd think in dreams. When people see these famous people in their dreams, they think that somehow they're going to interact with the famous person. But that is maybe going to happen. But generally, no, it's not. That's not the gold. That's not what value you're going to unearth from this dream. The value is going to come from who they are to you, what their name meaning is, or what they represent in your life. So pay attention to these celebrity dreams, but begin to reframe what that symbol could mean so you can begin to unlock your future. If you made it all the way through to the end of this episode, thank you so much for watching. I love talking about dreams, and I hope you enjoyed it too. If you did, hit the subscribe button because this channel is only here because of you. And if you want to dive deeper into your own dreams, I have a free community for that. See the link below.